everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be giving Slay the Spire Ironclad Ascension 19 a try. Let's see how it goes. I've never made it to Ascension 20 proper. I've got many hours in this game, but I've never really made a hard push to get to Ascension 20. I've always been happy to just kind of play at different levels, mostly really Ascension 15 if I really want a challenge, and otherwise just keep resetting and trying different mods and doing different things. But lately I've decided I really want to try to make that A20 push. And I want to do this in the style of some of my favorite YouTubers and Slay the Spire streamers. So I'm going to be playing the Ironclad here, really systematically talking through my thoughts, maybe give some basic explanations for the game, but I'm going to go ahead and assume a basic familiarity with the game for the sake of this, because this is also pretty much a demo of the process. So that said, let's get into it. So with the Ironclad, I start off with my strikes, my defends, and a bash. So Meow here, who's our adorable cat girl overlord, will give us the option to pick a new card, obtain a random common relic, get a curse and more hit points, or trade out our starting relic for a boss. Trade out the end of 6 combat heals 6 HP, which for the Ironclad, or for any character for that matter, is huge. Health regeneration is an extremely valuable resource in this game, so you've got to think carefully about giving up those options. And it immediately commits you into a very specific style of play, whereas if you keep it, you kind of have all of the Ironclad's options still on your table. All of that said, obtaining a random common relic I think is easily the best one out of this group. It's just consistently chosen by a lot of people, and it's just going to get us a lot of value. And as others have said, common is a bit of a misnomer that makes it seem like there are better relics or that it's a lower tier. That's really not true. There are plenty of common relics that can easily win you an entire game if used correctly. So we're going to gamble on that. We're going to get the Preserved Instinct. Enemies in elite combats have 25% less HP. That is very huge for us. That lets us be extremely aggressive with looking for these elite fights. I can choose and pick my way through here, and even in a normal run, you would be pretty aggressive looking for elites. This just makes that much easier. I'm probably going to go ahead and go for the dangerous elite of the floor. Go ahead and get the first piece of the Emerald Key trifecta here rolling. But we got to get there first. So we got to get through one of these guys. We'll probably hit this bonfire on the way. I don't see any reason to go for the others. I guess this way, but I guess you could get over here. This way you could get a bonfire. You end up with a bonfire and a shop, but you're going to get a shop this way. So much could be said about this. I think it's fine to just start here. Immediately start with both of them attacking. So I could go ahead and try and burst down our front kid here and take more damage in the face. I'm going to play at least one strike. I know that for a fact. So the game's going to be, do I double defend or do I double strike? And there aren't really good issues here. This isn't a great start for me. I'm going to look at the fact that I could bash that front one down. There's no debuffs coming. I know a bash will kill him. I'm going to go ahead and block out. And do exactly that. Now I've just got one to deal with, and while he's going to weaken me so I do less damage, it's going to be a lot easier to take minimal damage as I poke him down now. Easy peasy. Pick up a plated armor potion. That should help us later. First card choice of the run. Sentinel, we don't have anything that works with that right now. Wild Strike is great damage. Shrug It Off is extremely reliable card draw and block. We're going to go for that. It's immediately going to pay dividends because we're going to be able to full block with a single card. And then this guy has less health and less armor he's going to gain for one turn. So we're going to go ahead and pop that. And there we go. So we end up taking a little bit of damage, not a lot though, and now we can burst down this last enemy. Another interesting set of choices. We've got Body Slam, which in this deck, I mean, you know, we're building slowly towards something with Shrug It Off, but nothing really that impressive. You know, its upgrade's okay. It's a great upgraded card. I'd pick it on the spot if it was upgraded. But in Ascension 19, I don't think that's going to be happening very often. Flex is Flex. Disarm is great against one of the elites. What boss am I going up against? And is great against our boss here. So I'm going to go ahead and say Disarm is our choice to get that strength debuff. So between Shrug It Off and Disarm, I've now got a great defense I'm setting up. So I need to immediately start looking for aggression. I'm going to pray at the wing statue and remove a defend, which I've already got 2 defensive cards I've already added to my deck. I want to be aggressive as the Ironclad in the first place. It's the only good choice. We're going to go to our merchant here, and we're going to look at our options. No relics on the table yet. We don't have enough money for that. We don't care about what's on sale, really, I don't think. Healing potion, we feel pretty good about our health so far. Card draw's okay. Again, more defense here. So the potions and the relics aren't going to do much for us. So now we have to talk about... I'm a pretty big fan of ghostly armor. It's a lot of fun for me, I think, but... And if we hadn't picked up that Shrug It Off, I would be clicking on that, but I'm not going to here. Instead, we have to choose between... I was going to say we have to choose between Pommel Strike and Card Removal Service, do we? 75 plus 60. 75 plus 50 would be 125. 60 and 70 would be 130. Yeah, no, we can't afford that. So we have to choose between Pommel Strike and removing one of our defense. Again, removing a defense helps our deck be in a vague sense overall more aggressive. Pommel Strike does kind of a similar thing and does damage. So I'm going to go with Pommel Strike. So now we either go fight, elite, rest, or question mark, rest, elite. So the value of doing the fire after is if something goes terribly wrong and I need to heal, it's an option. It's not a great one, but it's there. But more importantly, if I get a really good card out of this elite fight, it gives me the chance to instantly upgrade it and possibly give myself a huge power boost. If I went to the bonfire beforehand and upgraded something, it would be to make Pommel Strike draw me 2 cards, or it would be to upgrade Bash or to give Disarm a bit of a boost. This would be a huge gamble because I don't know what elite fight I'm going into. It could be completely useless against the sentries. Pommel Strike's the only really thing that I want upgraded. Shrug It Off is nice. I think I'm going to go ahead and gamble on it. I'm going to go ahead and try to get what I'm going to get from these next couple of fights and then check my upgrade. Not the order I want those cards, but we'll get it. Hit. This Disarm would buy me 2 health basically every turn, so it'd take 3 turns to buy 1 defense. Am I going to need to defend 3 turns worth of attacks? Just gonna take 1 damage now. I'm gonna basically full block again with the expectation that I'll be able to kill him this next turn. Sentinel Flex Server Skip. Or Sever. Server Soul. This is a tough one. This is a really tough one. I don't really like any of these cards, to be honest. We still don't have any exhaust synergy. We don't really have any instant strength gain synergy. I think we just have to skip. I don't think any of those are going to really help us. So now our Preserved Insect finally is getting to do some work. So we're going to have a very strong Bash Pommel Strike opening. And I've got a very defensive turn coming up, plus a couple of other random cards. I'm not killing him next turn, but I am killing him the turn after that. So I'm going to say that this is going to buy me just enough. Now this is going to hurt. So we obviously Pommel Strike first. And with Bash doing 8 and 9, 17, so I guaranteed kill unless I don't draw Bash. Actually, even if I don't draw Bash, I've got a guaranteed kill next turn, regardless of what I do here. But I can't kill him this turn. So I'm going to full block. That's a problem. No, it's not, because 6, 12, 18 will still kill him. We're good. So now I decide this buys us 2 health, this buys us 5, no-brainer. We get punched in the face. It's alright, we were ready for it. We do that. Not worth popping this for 4 HP. The Courier. Restock cards, potions, all prices reduced by 20%. Very nice to see that early on in the game. And a Blessing of the Forge. That'll be nice too. Okay, so nothing really special in terms of our rewards, unfortunately. So I would have preferred, in retrospect, to have gone to the bonfire first, but we didn't know, so we had to see what we're going to get. Now we've got Headbutt, which is just a nice, good damage card. It keeps my pommel strikes cycling, things like that. And now we've got our True Grit, which exhausts a card at random until it's upgraded, at which point it's a targeted exhaust. This is a very powerful card. Unfortunately, I don't have any really good synergies being set up in the deck yet. Headbutt and Pommel Strike being the closest, which is not great. I'm going to err on the side of combat and trust in the Headbutt. Now for my upgrade, I'm really tempted to upgrade this Disarm because it'll be that much better against our boss here coming up, who's the only one that we really have to be left worried about. And it's not bad against Lagavulin either. Pommel Strike is, of course, just more damage, though. So the upgrade doesn't do much, but it does get that card draw going. So it and Headbutt are already kind of trying to do the same thing. Cycle me through to my good cards faster. So who do we upgrade? Who do we upgrade? This is a really tough one. It really is. If I'm going to upgrade my defense, it's going to be Disarm, because that's going to buy me more strength against the bosses long term than Shrug It Off will, I think. At least against this boss and some of the mini bosses. I'm not really worried about drawing through things very quickly. I'm more interested in playing these cards multiple times. I'm going to go ahead and do the Disarm. I'm going to err on the side of defense here. And I'm just going to let that empower me to be that much more aggressive in other situations. This, I think, is an upgrade page because I'm about to take a ton of damage, and I need to fix that right now. We're going to do this. We're going to get punched in the face a lot. Go down to dangerous health levels. We're going to Headbutt. Bring back Pommel Strike. Kill this enemy. Shrug it off. Now we can kill this guy a lot more comfortably. Shrug it off. Again, we don't get to full block. It's unfortunate. So now I think we can bash and kill him next turn. Pommel Strike. Power Through is all the block I'd ever want, but I don't have any exhaust synergy going quite yet. Clothesline is a source of weak. That's very important. Inflame is strength, which is nice, but I don't have anything that really synergizes directly with having more strength other than the attacks, of course. We're going to go with Clothesline, because that's both damage and defense. I'm having to reconsider going for this guy. If I do, I'm going to have to rest at one of these sites, which is probably okay. We're going to take an Eternal Feather for every 5 cards in your deck, heal 3 HP. That is fantastic, and that means we are absolutely going to hit both of these bonfires, not rest at either one of them, but just waltz through them so that we can get some healing. Alright, so Lagavulin, the single elite, mini-boss elite, I feel pretty good against so far. I'm going to take some damage, but we'll live. The sentries are a huge problem. I have nothing AoE related, and even my single target burst down relies on bash. Or clothesline, at least, to buy time. So I'm going to go ahead and shrug it off, because this is a full block against a single sentry. I'm going to have to wait them out. I don't want to take damage, so I'll buy a single potion from you. Heal HP. I am being set up for success, essentially. Alright, so I think we're going to do Pommel Strike, because if it is the sentries, remember we got to prepare for our worst case scenarios, I can cycle through them. It's not, but that's okay. We get a free Disarm. We get a free bash. And now we have to decide how we want to open this fight. I think I'm actually going to clothesline, headbutt, and bring... So do I bring back Shrug It Off or clothesline? I'm going to go ahead and do... Right now, there's only 1 turn's worth of weak. That 1 turn worth of weak is going to buy me maybe 5 HP. I think we have to bring Shrug It Off back. Now we nearly full block and get to pop all rat. This turn hurts, but now I think we're in the lead. We do that, we headbutt, we bring back clothesline, I think. And we're golden. That was a really solid run. Vajra, I start one combat with X strength, the Emerald Key, and a skill potion. Do I want a random skill, or 4 plated armor, or healing for a boss? I'm gonna drop this. I always feel like I underuse plated armor. I don't think that it's bad, I just feel like I underuse those potions, and I'm much better about finding a key moment to play a skill I need. Alright, so, Sword Boomerang would have been great with that strength, but it isn't what it is. Clash is a trap. We're not gonna fall for the trap. Wild Strike is nice, but we're running pretty thin right now, and we have no way to deal with the wounds it's going to be giving us. So either it's Sword Boomerang to combo with Vajra and future things, or it's a skip. I think we need more damage, so we're going to go with Vajra. So now, in the name of being sure I can fly through and not rest, I'm going to be defensive here. And if it means this guy ends up getting away, well, that stinks, but it is what it is. So headbutt, push the damage. Pommel Strike. Heavy Blade. So this does 14 strength effects card 3 times. I have 1 strength, so that's 2 mana for 17 damage. Not great right now, and I've already got a pretty heavy deck so far already with Clothesline and Bash. Havoc, meh. Iron Wave. If I already had a source of dex building, this would become incredible. But for right now, it's just okay. I think I'm gonna skip this for now. Healed up to 38. Between that and 2 defensive potions, I think I'll be okay going into this. So now I, of course, upgrade Sword Boomerang to get its damage even higher. Alright, what do we start out with? So we can start out with Pommel Strike. Disarm, I'd love to get Disarm out as soon as I can, but if I do that and then headbutt him down to 19, he's going to block for like 10 or something like that. Can I do 30 damage next turn? This is gonna do 16, 23, 30. If I draw Sword Boomerang and 2 strikes, it's possible. A single clothesline won't do it, it'll come up like 1 short, I think. And of course if I just draw a bunch of defends and a strike, I'm boned. So I'm going to bash. I think that will set me up for success. And it will. I'm okay shrugging it off, because I want to just cycle through one of my generic cards. So now we defend. Clothesline I'd eat 4 damage to cut off 25%, to cut off 2 or 3 points of damage over 2 turns. I feel like that would basically even out, so I'm going to not waste the mana on it. Do I need to headbutt anything back? I really don't. I'm going to play it safe, just pass the turn. Obviously Disarm, shrug it off. Am I worried about cycling through anything? Yes, I'm terrified of cycling through my Sword Boomerang. So I'm going to just hit him once, eat a little bit of damage. You have to as the Ironclad. And now I know I can do that. He's only hitting me for 8. So I'm just going to bring Sword Boomerang back, and I'm just going to eat damage. I've eaten worse from the mid-floor fights. Then I'm going to bash again, do a bit of damage. Got him down to half, and I've only taken a bit of damage. This is good. Shrug it off. Do some damage. And then I'm worried about... I'm going to have to take some hits to the face next turn. This is going to hurt. Now, I don't heal up a lot after the boss fights these days. 10 damage is still not the worst. I haven't let him buff himself at all, and he's got the strength debuff on. So, I'm going to live through this fight. Now I've got to talk about how much health do I want to carry into the next floor. The answer should be as much as possible. So I can go ahead and just heal up now if I want to. And no, I'm just going to just ride that through the rest of the fight. Or I can try to go for a skill potion to find something to block some or all of this damage. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to find a draw, which could get me back into Shrug It Off, or at least Defend. Weakening, which would buy me a couple of points of health, less than a single Defend would. Or Offering. Offering would knock out 6 hit points, so it's like he's hitting me already with one of his attacks. But my gamble there would be to say that I could save 4 hit points with something that I'm about to draw, which would be a gamble. All of these are tough choices. I'm going to go ahead and go with Battle Trance. And unfortunately, I both draw Sword Boomerang and I Defend. So now, do I throw away the damage for Sword Boomerang this turn for more damage? I think I do. And I'm going to go ahead and just lean into this. I've already made my bed. I'm going to summon back Sword Boomerang. And now we win, because we're going to find one source of block and kill him. Some money, no potion. Big choices to make. Corruption, which makes all my skills cost 0, but they exhaust themselves. Fiend Fire, which burns out my hand. I don't have a ton of card draw, which is what you have to have in Fiend Fire, so we're not worried about that at the moment. Or good old Bludgeon, which is just do a metric ton of damage. If I get Snecko Eye, that will be huge, because that is 2 huge things and a Bludgeon that are now being randomized. That would be a massive boon immediately. However, if I don't get Snecko Eye, it's another 3-cost card that is good, but is going to quickly get outpaced. Corruption, amusingly enough, is kind of the safe bet here, because it basically says, don't take damage for a couple of turns after this. However, I've only got a handful of skills in my deck, which means that if the fight goes on for very much longer, I literally have no sources of block. So this speeds me through the floor fights, but gets me absolutely murdered against possibly some of the elites, and especially against a boss. And that's gambling on me finding some exhaust synergy, which isn't impossible, and I've got the cash to maybe make that happen. But it's between Corruption and Bludgeon. I'm going to gamble on Corruption. No Snecko Eye, so we feel better about that. Mark of Pain, gain energy every turn, but you have to shuffle 2 wounds into your draw pile. That does suck. Black Blood, which heals for 12 instead of 6. We may consider that, considering how much damage we're still taking. And the big scary one, Coffee Dripper. Gain energy every turn, you can no longer rest. I got through floor 1 without resting at all, I think. Is that right? Huh, I don't know. I've already forgotten. But that synergizes with our Eternal Feather, because we can still be passing through those rest sites and healing, while aggressively adding cards to our deck. I think we have to, because I think we're just too energy hungry otherwise. I think we have to go Coffee Dripper. And especially on Ascension 19, either you should have dodged the attacks that were going to bring you down to low health, you should have dodged those fights in the first place, or you're dead. So it's kind of one or the other. Oh my goodness, a 4 elite route. That would be incredible with our preserved instinct. If I was on a lower ascension, I'd be clicking on that instantaneously. And it really stinks because the only other choice is 2 elite. So either 3/4 elite without much of a better respite, or a measly 2 elite fight. That is really hard.
Excuse me. This is why I'm drinking coffee.
This is a really tough choice. You know what? We're going to do it for the views. We're going to do it for the pillows. I'm going to reset. I did that in the wrong order. I'm a very strong believer in the you don't do fight resets very often just because you didn't like how something's playing out. But in simple things like, oh, there's another card in another class that does this in the exact opposite order and you just misclicked. We're gonna, okay, so we want to put a card from our discard. So we're gonna play this first, then do this. Summon it back. There we go. We won't be doing that in the middle of the fight just because we don't like how it went, but we will be doing it for stupid turn 1 mistakes like that. So, I want to aggressively exhaust. That's what we're gonna do. Bash, pommel strike, shrug it off. Now if we could draw literally any damage cards, we'll be fine. Still not a lot to use with this heavy blade, but we do have the energy for it. Perfected strike. We've already got a pommel strike, and we still have all of our original strikes, so that's not the worst choice really, and it leans into us having more energy. Iron Wave, however, is a source of block that doesn't get destroyed by corruption, so we've got to consider that. I think we've got enough damaging cards at this point. We need to buff up our weakness now, which is our health. So I'm going to take Iron Wave. Hopefully we get a free upgrade on it. That'd be the best. This guy's tough. He's got an artifact which is going to negate all the buffs I'm going to throw at him. All 3 of them, which pretty much means we're not going to debuff in this fight. Unless we throw a whole lot at it. So, I'm going to just throw all the damage I've got at him. And it's tempting to want to try to debuff him again to eventually get him to a point where you can debuff him. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try to just rush him down. I'm going to just take this 11 to the face. Actually, I may draw. Yeah, there's lots of good stuff I draw into. Okay, no big. This is going to get us back. I'm going to say pommel strike. This is going to hurt. We're going to do that. Pommel strike. And we're going to come so painfully short on damage. If we had 1 more energy, or if these strikes could do just a bit more damage, this would be a kill. But it's not. So, we're going to get him really close, get punched in the face for it, and then kill him. Entrench isn't that big a deal. We're not really doing a whole lot with that. Bloodletting, lose HP, gain energy. We're not, I mean, we always love more energy, don't get me wrong, but I mean, if I had done that and taken 3 HP there, I could have killed him and saved 20 HP. But this is also going to be burning itself out once we go ham with corruption. Which still helps us in those short-range fights. And if we don't want to play it too many times in a set, we know we'll eventually burn it out with corruption. So there's strength there. That said, there's also double tap, which plays my attacks twice. So that's basically a, make clothesline 3 mana, but it does 24 damage and applies 4 weak. That's something I can really consider, and I've already got the energy for it. So I'm going to go with double tap. A long line of hooded figures can be seen entering an unassuming cathedral. Naturally, you join the line and are quickly surrounded by cultists. They ignore you as they gleefully chant and wave their weapons around. Murder, murder, murder. Caw, caw, caw. Murder, murder, murder. Caw, caw, caw. You eye a donation box, which I can smash and grab and get some fast cash. Or I can stay in line, be a part of it, and get the Ritual Dagger, which is an extremely powerful colorless card that not only does a lot of damage as a one-cost attack, if it kills something, it increases its own damage permanently, which is absolutely what we're going to do. You decide to stay in line, out of fear, to see what will happen. Eventually you're face to face with the leader. A well-dressed cultist hands you an ornate dagger. Like the others before you, you slash your forearm and let the blood drip into a misshapen bowl. The cultists chant and holler for you. Caw, caw, caw. Con. You chant too. Why not? Why not indeed? So, because of how much fighting we're about to do, it's tempting to avoid a fight. However, if we're able to slam dunk a fight well enough, we actually heal more than we lose. But we are not proving that we have that much defense yet. That said, we want more we want more procs for our Ritual Dagger. So we're gonna pick as many fights as we can. Not really who we want to see, but it is what it is. Now I'm confused. I'm going to randomize the cost of all of my cards, which, as you can see, is not all that helpful. We don't want to play Ritual Dagger yet. We want to shrug it off and then Clothesline, which is what we would do with 3 mana, which still isn't great, but it's alright. We're going to go ahead and Corruption for 3. Bash. Punch. But it wouldn't give for a bit of armor. So now we will block, draw first, on our way. We're nowhere near killing him yet, so we'll go ahead and do this. Shrug it off again. I'm going to aggressively burn all of these out because I don't want them. I'm going to headbutt the Ritual Dagger back, and then set myself up for a almost guaranteed Ritual Dagger kill. It wouldn't have mattered playing that twice because it wouldn't have killed him twice. So, Cultist Potion, gain 1 strength at the end of your turn. That's going to be huge. That's what we're going to use to get the win out. Feel no pain whenever card is exhausted, gain 3 block. We're taking that. That is our source of block. We're done. So we're going to Corruption here. Permanently eliminate you. And then that would be 3 damage to you, which is pitiful, but we've got to start somewhere. Do we do that, or do we go for the Chosen? I think I'm going to do the damage to the Chosen. Ritual Dagger only does 9, so doubled up it would do 18. This doubled up... Man, I hate that. I can drop him with double tap if nothing else, so I know I'm going to do that. So I guess the question is, do I double up the Clothesline or double up the Ritual Dagger later? I think we double up the Ritual Dagger later. We go boom, boom, and then boom. Ah! We were off. Oh well. That's where I should have sat there and done the math better. But that's one of those things I'm not going to reset on, because it is what it is. I'm going to aggressively do that. Draw into this. Bring back Clothesline. And this guy's literally going to generate us all the defense we need. Thanks, buddy. And now we just let this play itself out. Another Headbutt, Wild Strike upgraded, or Inflame. I'm going to take Inflame. I think we need it. So, this is the first of the elites. And actually, we could do 2 elites if we needed to. We could skip this one, do this one, skip this one, do this one. Not doing great on health. I'm gonna give myself some time. I'm gonna skip that one. I'm gonna offer some gold to remove. I'm actually gonna remove Strike. I think those have started bloating us up. And it didn't put us over the 15 or 20 mark, so it didn't affect our Eternal Feather. We're gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna actually upgrade Iron Wave. I think that's gonna pay dividends for us in the long run. As odd as it may seem. Alright, so we could double tap Clothesline to do 26 and set this guy up for the kill. Or we could Clothesline, bring him down to 26 and still kill him. So it doesn't really matter actually what order we do this. Either way, we get the kill. Did that in the wrong order, so I'm going to take some damage for it. Or I'll just full block it. Aha! Not being punished for your choices. Can I kill him this turn? 8. 13. Almost certainly not. So I need to block some. There's not much to draw into with that block, so we're not worried about pommel striking into it probably. Although a single defense wouldn't hurt. So pommel strike, defend, Iron Wave. Wounds. Ooh, that got close. Frozen Egg. Whenever you add a power to your card, upgrade it. That is something I wish I'd found a lot sooner, but it is what it is. We're going to take Reaper, because it deals damage to all enemies and heals us. That is huge. And then Regal Pillow. Whenever you rest, heal an additional HP. Well, you see, that's not going to do very much for us. So we're going to take the Sapphire. I'm going to dodge this elite in the name of hopefully getting some big here. So I'm going to aggressively draw. Hit. Not a fan of drawing those in the first hand, but we'll live. Hopefully. Going to do this. Damage. So we kill this guy. Weaken you. Block. Blocked. Dying. I have to heal. That is terrifying. Kill on you. Block. Hit. Oh, I'm dead. Well, we tried. So, that was my first shot at Ascension 19 with Ironclad, and we will give it another try in the next one.